I'm going to be demoing the mobile version of the CS 340 project. The purpose of this demo is to help you become more familiar with what is expected in the project. I'll be showing the app on 3 different platforms: iOS, Android, and Flutter. This is so you can see different ways in which the project can be designed, but of course these are just examples and you should feel free to be creative. The project is basically a Twitter clone. The data within the app consists of users, tweets or statuses, followers, and feeds, which are groupings of related tweets. The interfaces within the app consist of authentication, home, and user pages, as well as being able to create a tweet and view a user's tweet. Let's start with signing up. This is the iOS version of the app. I'll begin by going to the Sign Up tab and entering my information. You'll notice that the password text field is prompting me that my password format is incorrect. You'll need some way to validate form data in your authentication steps, similar to what you did in CS 240. Once I sign up, I create my account. A user account consists of a profile picture, a name, and a handle or username, starting with an @ symbol, just like in Twitter. I'll take a picture here of my wall as a profile picture, give myself a name, and a handle, and then I'll create my account. I'm prompted to confirm my account by entering a code that was sent to my email. If you use AWS Cognito for your authentication, this is a functionality that's built in, but you don't have to use it, and confirming an account like this is not required for the project. So I'll enter my code, and since my code's correct, I transition to the home page. Next, I'll show an example of signing in. This is the Android version of the app. Signing in is pretty straightforward. I just enter my username and password. You don't have to sign in using your username. You could just as well sign in using your email. It doesn't make a difference. I hit the sign in button, and then I transition to the home page. We're now here on the home page, which contains a lot of the key features of the app. On all versions, I chose to use tabs for my lists. We have the feed, which contains tweets for all the people I'm following, my story, which contains just my tweets, following for the people I'm following, and followers for the people that are following me. You need some way to log out. You need a way to navigate to a user or hashtag, which doesn't have to be a full extensive search. I'll show you what I mean in a minute. And then we need a way to compose and send a tweet. So let's make a tweet, and I'll just say my first tweet, since it's my first tweet. By the end of the project, the time it takes for me to send a tweet should be quick, whether I have only a few followers or a few thousand followers. This tweet shows up in my story and in my feed. If you want to have your feed only be the tweets of the users you're following, that's fine. I chose to have my feed contain both sets of tweets. The tweet should show the user's profile picture, name, handle, and the timestamp of when the tweet was sent, as well as the content of the tweet. We'll come back to sending tweets in a minute. Let's look at the navigation feature. I'll show it in the Android app. Let's say I know a user that exists, and I type in their handle. The navigation feature simply returns the user with the specific keyword I used. This is not a full extensive search, which is fine. Now let's say I type in a user that doesn't exist. The app should reject or disallow this input, since the app shouldn't be able to navigate to a user that doesn't exist. Now back on the user page. There's a lot of stuff here, but not everything is required. What you need is a way to know to whom this page belongs, a way to follow or unfollow this user, and a way to see their feed, users they're following, and users who are following them. I also shouldn't be able to see a user's feed of whom I am not following. There should be no way to follow or unfollow yourself. Let's go back and follow test 2, which is the iOS user. I'll then refresh my followers on the iOS app and see test 1. I can of course unfollow, and then test 1 is gone. But let's follow test 2. I'm going to send a tweet as test 2 and say, thanks for following me, test 1, and I'll add an image. You need to be able to add an attachment in your tweets, specifically an image or video, and it's possible to include both an image and a video in the same tweet. The mention test 1 is highlighted and is clickable. Clicking this mention takes me to test 1's homepage, which in this case is just myself. Now I'll show sending a video. I'll do it on the iOS app. Since iOS simulators don't allow you to use the simulator camera and don't support video uploads from the device, I'm doing this on my own phone. I'll pick this video here of a concert I went to recently and let it compress here, and I'll refresh my feed so that I can see the video, and here we can see it play. I'm going to follow test 2 on the Flutter app so I can see the video there too. So I'll go ahead and follow, automatically reload, and there it is. And I can play it too. You should be able to hear sound, but I just muted it for this recording. Just a little side note about the user page on this version of the app. You'll notice at the top the Twitter icon. That's a user's cover photo. If I were on my own user page, I'd be able to add a cover photo for myself, and anyone who visited my page would be able to see it just like in Twitter or Facebook. You don't have to have cover photos, but what you do have to be able to do is change your own profile picture. The last two things I'm going to show is pagination and hashtags. Something I did behind the scenes was I sent 25 tweets numbered 1 through 25, and then I also unfollowed test 2, which was the user with the video, just to make it a little bit easier to see the pagination. So right now in my backend I have it set up to send me page sizes of 10. So each time I call that paginated API endpoint, I'm getting 10 tweets back. So I just refreshed, and as I scroll down, once I get to the 10th tweet, we'll see it load 10 more, and then once we get down, it'll again load 10 more. So I implemented this by calling that paginated API endpoint every time I got to a certain point in this scrollable list, but you can also call that paginated API endpoint with a button. Behind the scenes, I sent 2 tweets, each with hashtags in them. I'm just going to show what happens when you click on a hashtag, or what can happen. So I'll click on the CS340 hashtag, and we just go to a page where it shows all the tweets that have that hashtag in it. This other tweet with 2 hashtags inside of it, each hashtag being the same word, we click on it and we should only see that single tweet. We shouldn't see that tweet duplicated in this case, or if there are 3 hashtags, we shouldn't be able to see that tweet 3 times. That's the end of the demo for the 340 Twitter clone project. Hopefully you have a better idea of what is expected. I didn't include absolutely everything in this demo, so of course you should refer to the spec for any project specification questions that you have.